Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Deaimon, and this is one of my favorite anime of the year. Probably my favorite of spring. There are a couple I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished notably Summertime Render yet. So again, maybe this could be topped by that, but it's my favorite so far of spring. I would have said my favorite of the year if not for the second half of Osama ranking being in winter, because that's my favorite. But yeah, either way, the way we're going to do this video is we're first going to start off. I'm going to give my sort of general breakdown of the visuals, the music, my general thoughts on the story and everything, whether I would recommend this to you or not, information and opinion and stuff like that. And then after that, I'll give a place where you can leave if you want to, if you don't want any information on what actually happens, if you don't want any deeper discussion and sort of not really a breakdown per se, because I'm not going to go over every single thing that happens. But if you don't want to be spoiled on anything that happens, you just want to take my recommendation and go on the basics, I'll give a place for you to jump out after I do that. So yeah, let's first start off talking about the series in general. I think you will love it if you're one of those people who likes really comfy anime. Something about, like, I'll get a little bit into the main premise. Nagumo is 30 years old. Why was I getting his Nagumo sounds right, but I have Nagumo sounds right, but Nagumo is what I have written in my notes. So I'm assuming it is. No, but I also have Nagomu written in my notes later. So I think it is Nagomu. That sounds right. I must have just messed up one time at the beginning. But yeah, he's 30 years old. He returns home to the family Wagashi store after 10 years, where a girl, Itsuka, who's been abandoned by her parents, and that's complicated, is currently living and wants to take over as the heir to the shop, the next person to run it and everything. And it's just about this kind of surrogate father-daughter relationship. It's really cute. It's really comfy. If you're the type that likes that type of anime, this is the kind of anime you're going to like. It is also one of those I just mentioned in Birdie Wing, where I was like, Birdie Wing's not really about the golf. If you go into it, you're not going to learn much about golf, where there are some animes you go in and it is really about the thing that it's about kind of a lot, and you learn a lot about that thing. For this, it was wagashi, which is like traditional Japanese confections. Yeah, I don't really know the English word for that. But yeah, you're going to learn a bit about that. I don't think it focuses too much on that, but it does focus a bit on it. It's more of using that as a way to tell the character's story. But there is a bit of focus on that, so I did think it appropriate to mention there. So yeah, beyond that, I think the visuals are basic, but not bad at all. It's not like low budget, bad looking. It's just basic. It's comfy. It's cute. I think it's good. I think the visuals really serve that chill style to me. It's just a really, really chill one. I think it is emotional in a really positive way. It's not like emotional as in, oh, these bad things are always happening to the characters, but emotional in just like, I don't know, a heartwarming, beautiful way. I loved the characters so much, including the side characters, and I really wanted more of the side characters. This isn't necessarily a complaint or a criticism, because I thought what we got was good. In fact, it's probably a praise, because I'm just saying I wanted more. I wanted even more of the side characters. I think there's like so much. They weren't undeveloped, but I think we could have done so much more. And I guess if we do get a second season, maybe, then we could do a lot more. Also, this Wagashi stuff had me thinking, like, you see videos and TV shows and stuff all the time where, like, Japanese people will see, like, Western sweets and be like, that cupcake has pink icing. How do Westerners eat this? It looks so fake. And you see stuff, this cereal is colorful. How do Westerners eat this? And then you look at Wagashi and I'm like, this looks like plastic. This looks like it was made from fossil fuels. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure it's, again, perfectly fine and delicious. I'm like, why do you see so often in Japanese media where they're like, oh, Western food just looks so fake? And like, Wagashi doesn't look fake to you. This looks it looks like a plastic toy to me. Even the like IRL stuff, not just like, this isn't a knock on the anime or anything. I was just, again, it's not even a criticism of Japanese culture or anything. It's just saying it's kind of like, what a weird thing to like see mentioned all the time, but then like just completely overlook the way Wagashi looks. I think the opening and ending, something I always talk about in these reviews, were great. It's extremely hard to find them anywhere on the internet because of copyright claims, but they're really good. I think they were great. I liked the episode. The ending, it was one of those where you could tell the ending went through like, oh, this is what's going to happen in episode 1. This is what's going to happen in episode 2, episode 3, etc. So every episode, because I always watch openings and endings when I watch a show. So every episode I'm watching the ending like, oh, that's going to be next. The image of them in the snow, that's going to be next. I thought that was really fun to go through like that. Also, I wanted to make this something that I make sure to say in all of my reviews, whether we think we're getting a season 2 or not. Yeah, I don't know. The manga is still ongoing, so a season 2 is possible, but I don't think it was super duper popular. I don't know. Couldn't tell you exactly. Yeah, it could always be one of those series that just never gets a season 2, because that happens to anime just all the time. But yeah, those are my general thoughts. It's one of my favorite series. You probably could have ended this review after one sentence. I have nothing but praise for it. I really, really find it so good. Again, like with all this exciting actiony stuff, or with all of this really crazy high production stuff like Spy Family, I still thought Deaimon was my favorite for spring. So yeah, big praise there. And before I get into like a deep review going into things that actually happen in the series, I'll give you a chance to bow out, but I want to give a thank you to patrons and channel members. Thank you to the chosen regulars, Etchy0, Evan, Holly, Remorsefuls, Magical Girl, FR Nono, Cheriton Student, Cells of the Storyteller, and David Langstaff, and Slayer Candidate SG. Thank you for supporting the channel and helping me to continue to make videos. If any of you want to become a patron or a channel member, just hit join below the video, or like there will be a link to Patreon, patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, easy peasy. I just want to throw that in there to give people like a little line, so if they want to jump out of the video before I get into more detailed spoilery stuff, they can. Not that there's anything really to spoil in Deaimon. It's a nice, comfy slice of life. There's not a lot of big shocks or anything. So yeah, let's talk about this more in depth. Let's just sit here and talk about a good anime. So starting with episode 1, Nagumo coming home is stopped by Itsuka, who still looks around for her father and mistakes Nagumo for her father because of the guitar he carries around. And yeah, I have Nagumo from here on out at my notes, and I'm just now paranoid that I mixed up the O and the U in his name. But either way, Nagumo's father is always on his case, but I think it is perfectly fine because it's always in like a well-meaning way, and he doesn't take it too far, which is something that I can have a problem with in a lot of media. A lot of times there's these overbearing parents, and we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, but they care about their kids and stuff, but sometimes they take it way too far, and I'm like, no, they're an awful parent. This is not good. Or something to that effect. But even though his father was hard on him, it never went too far or anything, and it was very clear that it came from a place of meaning well and everything. His mother asks him if he's going to be staying there to help support Itsuka like a surrogate father. A prank call by some jerks fools Itsuka into making this order that there's nobody there to sell to. So Nagumo helps her sell it, and it's so heartwarming and good and comfy, and it's something that I love about Nagumo as a character. And I think a lot of people, especially people like once you get towards your mid to later 20s or even throughout your 30s, I think Nagumo's a really relatable character for a lot of people just in that really broad adult age range. I just think maybe that's why I love Deaimon. I mean, I'm only barely past my mid 20s, kind of like mid to late 20s. Oh man, it pains me to even say that. Um, but even now, even though I'm still a bit on the younger side, I can still sort of identify with Nagamu as a character and feel for him as a character. And I feel like um, for older fans, like I don't know, maybe that's a part of why I find it so good. One thing I love about his character though is how he constantly puts his pride aside just to help other people. Like because I don't, I hate when people are like, well, I would help or I would do this, but it'd be embarrassing or whatever, or I can't do that, it'd be embarrassing, even though doing that would be beneficial to somebody else. I like that Nagamu's like, I don't care if people think less of me, I don't care if people make fun of me, I don't care if I'm the butt of the joke, I'm just going to do what helps people. And I love that about his character. He constantly does that. Moving into episode 2, we get a lot of development for Mitsuru, one of the people who work at the Wagashi shop, who is a secret YouTuber. Her kind of identity starts getting out a little bit. She wants to give up on her dreams because her family situation is tough. Her mom had a lot of kids for some reason, and I don't know what her dad's deal is. Maybe he's around, maybe he's just off working a lot. And she has to take on a lot herself, even though she's still just a high school student herself. And Nagamu refuses to let her give up on her dreams. Again, man, I love it. I love it so much. And Nagamu and Mitsuru actually just have a really good relationship as characters. I love at the end where they each give each other the gift or whatever, like the charm she made for him and him giving the stuff that didn't turn out right to her. It's just so good. I really love their relationship. Do I want them to end up together? There's a pretty massive age gap there. Again, it's fiction. It's not real. I don't really care. But there is a pretty large age gap there. I don't really want them to end up together, but that's just because I have another grander couple that I ship together that we'll get to, I guess, probably next episode, yeah. But I think they have such a wonderful relationship in the series. Episode 3, Itsuka is lost because she followed someone she thought was her father and she got lost, and she's helped by Kanoko, and I love Kanoko. Kanoko is such a great character, and I didn't expect to like her at first because her and Nagamu's breakup was really weird. Now she's Nagamu's ex. Again, I speak during this section as if you have watched it, so I'm sorry if it's hard to follow along for those of you who have not watched Deaimon. But Nagamu's ex from before he moved back to live with his parents again here at the shop. Their breakup was a bit odd, a bit weird, but I love the way that she's introduced, the way she sticks around, and I just think her character is great, and that's why, to me, I don't want Nagamu and Mitsuru to end up together, is because I want Nagamu and Kanoko to end up together, because Nagamu protects Itsuka by kind of lying about her not making it to school or whatever. The three of them go to the festival together, and I just love them as this found family. I want Nagamu and Kanoko to get back together and to adopt Itsuka, basically, and just be a happy family. Like, that's just what I want. Episode 4, we get into Saki's character a bit at the beginning, learn how he sort of cross-dresses to escape his current identity and to, I don't know, explore a different side of himself, have some freedom. I just think that I wish that was explored more. I wish we got so much more of Saki's character, and Saki cross-dressing and everything, and Saki's identity. I would have loved to have gone so much more in depth on that, because I thought that was really good, and I would have liked to have seen more of it. The back half of this episode is a water park episode, and it's funny because I even have in my notes here, I'm like, a really heartfelt water park episode. Saki and Kanoko and Nagamu and Itsuka go to a water park, and it's really heartfelt and sweet. I just like it so much. Episode 5 is about sort of an outing the relationship between Kanoko, Mitsuru, and Itsuka, and their dynamic is incredibly good. It's so fun, the three of them together, where Kanoko kind of gets that Mitsuru has feelings for Nagamu, but is like, she's just a kid. And Mitsuru, I think she might get that, like, she's an ex, but it's like, she's an ex. They're not together anymore. And then, like, Itsuka's just between them, like, oh god, there's so much tension. I love their relationship. We get into the Obon Festival and learn more about the grandparents, the grandmother of Nagumo who's still alive, the grandfather who he was really close to who died. We learn more about them. Episode 6, we have this really great sports festival section at the beginning with the father-daughter race and everything. It's just so good. I love it so much. And then the second half gets a lot into Itsuka's mother returning and saying, I've been looking for Itsuka. I didn't know where her father just randomly dropped her off. I've had people looking for her for so long, and now I finally reunited with her. And I love that the show did this, because to me it is very easy to have her mother be evil in this instance. It is super easy to have her mother just be a crappy person. And it's also really easy, and I would have been perfectly fine just having her mother not show up at all. But it's so easy to have her be a crappy mom, but they went for a much more nuanced approach, which I think is much more true to life, at least for a lot of people who didn't grow up in just privileged nuclear families, where it's messy. The relationship isn't downright bad, it's not malicious, but the relationship is just messy. Her mother has other things that were keeping her from giving Itsuka the attention she deserved and needed, and Itsuka, though she loves her mom, wants to stay here because she wants to take over the shop. I think it's really complicated and messy, but it's not bad. It's not malicious. It's not harmful. I think it is really, really good to show, especially because so many relationships in reality are like that. And I guess it speaks to another thing with the main character being in his 30s, where it's just a bit of a more mature series in the way that it looks at that relationship. It's not like some straight, oh, her mother's a great person and this was all a misunderstanding. Or it's not some black and white, oh, her mother was just completely neglectful and didn't care about her. It was her mother neglectful? Kinda, yeah. She obviously didn't spend enough time with her, but she also didn't know that her baby's father was just going to be like, hey, we're dropping her off wherever, leaving her kid somewhere. And she's been looking for her. She's been searching for her. So again, I love the complexity to it. Episode 7, we have a really, really deep and great episode with a new character, Hiro, coming in, and Masa, who is an old man who's been working at the shop from the beginning of the series. Their episode was really, really, really great. I love the look into Hiro's character. We had the school cooking class stuff, which was really, really good. Now that's a crappy mom. This is the opposite of what I had to praise in the previous episode, because I thought the mom who laughed at like everything her daughter did was just an asshole. Screw this lady. She doesn't deserve her like kid. And her kid was like such a sweet, good girl too. And then she was like such a dick. I was like, screw this lady. Her kid deserves so much better. But episode 8, we get more deep into Kaneko and Nagumo's past and their life in Tokyo, how they met, how they lived together, and it was all mixed together with this cute Halloween stuff, and it was a really, really insanely great episode. Episode 9 was the Christmas episode, incredibly great once again. Nagumo wants to spend his birthday with Itsuka, I think, and gets rejected, but they make a promise, sort of a promise for Christmas / his birthday, that next year on her birthday they'll spend the day together. So Nagumo also breaks his grandpa's juicer. He reminisces about his grandfather and everything and decides to get it repaired. Itsuka is nervous because her mom wants to see her for Christmas, but she's nervous because her mom has been so busy in the past and blown her off so much on the past and made promises and not kept her promises so much in the past that she's nervous about seeing her mom again. And again, I love seeing her relationship with her and her mom here and how she's nervous about that and how this relationship is something that needs to kind of be built back. Meanwhile, Nagamu, on the other side of things, is dating both Mitsuru and Kanoko at the same time. It was, again, a really, really great episode. I love that side of it as well. Again, I really like all of those characters and the relationships. And even just revisiting episode 9, going back to episode 9, revisiting it, taking notes on it, I was tearing up. I really, really love this series, and I love that I decided to start doing reviews for the anime I watch, just because, I don't know, getting to go back to this, getting to take notes on this, getting to revisit this anime was a joy. I just loved it so much. Episode 10, Nagamu and Itsuka sneak this failed Wagashi to this old man who's visiting his mother's grave. It's really, really great. And the other chunk of the episode is about Otsuru, an older lady who's been working for the shop since the beginning, and how when she was young, she was Kome. She was this beautiful geisha that this man fell in love with. And even on his deathbed, he was thinking about her. And it was just so beautiful, and they couldn't be together because his family didn't support it. Like, it was just such a incredible episode. And at the beginning, with the granddaughter being like, I hate that my name is Kome, it's such an ugly name, being like pickled plum or whatever. I hate that that's my name or whatever. And learning that Kome wasn't this just ugly name, it was the name of this beautiful geisha that was her grandmother. And like, oh man, even just talking about it like makes me want to tear up again. It's such a great episode too. All of these episodes are just so good. Episode 11 was Nagamu gets sick, and we get flashbacks to Nagamu and Itsuka's father, and that's all really, really great. We get some Valentine's Day stuff going on. And we have this incredible scene with Nagamu and Itsuka playing in the snow, and how Itsuka never really liked the snow or anything because it was like this snowy, cold day when she got dropped off and abandoned. But now, like, Nagamu's changing that and making it a positive experience for her. It's just so good. And then episode 12, we end on Itsuka's birthday and the promised trip to the amusement park and the zoo. And it's so incredible. And this great character moment where Itsuka gets lost for a moment, and just in this brief second of panic, not knowing, oh crap, is Nagamu gonna come back? Is he going to find me? Am I going to be abandoned again? He comes back, and it's so beautiful. And while the emotional side of me wants to be like, screw her father, this guy stinks, get him out of here, this guy sucks, while the emotional part of me wants to be like that, wants to say this guy sucks, because I believe he does suck. Don't gaslight me, Deaimon. Don't gaslight me into thinking, well, he had his reasons. No, screw him. While I want to say that, I love that in the end that Nagamu is like, hey, you'll see your father again. I believe that you'll see him again. I believe that he'll come back for you, or you'll reunite. But until then, stay here and live here until you meet up with him again. And I just love that, how Nagamu's not like, I'm going to be your father now, but he's like, no, you're going to see your father again. I'm going to believe in this thing that you want, and I'm going to support you. And you can just stay here until then, until you need or want to leave. And I think that's really, really good. And that's another thing I respect. I talked about earlier, how it wasn't how Itsuka's mother, it wasn't cut and dry, like she was just horrible or anything. It was complex. It was messy. And I like and respect on the other side of that, while I believe in Nagamu, and while I'm like, oh, he'd be a wonderful father, just let him be Itsuka's father already. While I think that way emotionally, I appreciate that the series shows that Nagamu isn't a perfect father figure. He's still immature in a lot of ways. He still messes a lot of things up. He's not some perfect father figure. He's not some perfect guy, the answer to everyone's problems. He's just a guy that happens to solve a lot of their problems, or make their problems seem less bad by just helping them or being there for them. And it's not just the issue of, like you see a lot in a lot of shows, where the main character just goes around solving every other character's problem. But with this, it's again more complex than that. Everyone still has their problems. They just, like, learn to grow from them and live with them in different ways, from Hiro's sort of compulsion to have to do things perfectly, or taking things too literally and too seriously, or say in her scene with Masa back in like whatever episode that was really good, or like Saki still has the same things going on in his life that he does. We didn't just say that Nagumo came in and fixed everything that was going on. It's no, they're living their same. Mitsuru, her family still struggles, but now she doesn't want to give up on her dreams, and she's going to keep doing her best. And I don't know, Kanako just ended up again in a really positive, healthy place here now rather than where she was. And it's not that he solved everyone's problems, it's just that it's just more nuanced than that, I suppose. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. I absolutely love Deaimon. I've talked enough to you all about it, I guess. If you want to talk more, I'm absolutely open to it. I love the series. So yeah, I guess if you did like the video, comment on there to tell me what you thought of Deaimon, what you thought of my thoughts on it and everything. Subscribe for more anime, manga, comics, manhwa, light novels if I can get back to them. Much more on the channel. I just do whatever. I like to talk with you all. Yeah, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. It's free and open for anyone. If you want a link to the Discord server, ask me. It's free and open for anyone. And if you'd like to help support the channel, once again, like I mentioned before, if you'd like to join and become a channel member, you can right below the video. If you'd like to become a patron, it's patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description. But either way, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to those of you who are already members and patrons who I shouted out earlier individually. Thank you so much. And thank all of you so much for watching, for being a part of this. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.